material one of you sent over.
Yep. And it's an interesting one, an Amazon product page.
But not just any product page, right? This thing has over 100,000 customer ratings.
Yeah, over 109,000. That's a lot of feedback.
Seriously. So our mission today, cut through all that noise.
Exactly. We're going to pull out the key insights, the good, the bad, the consistent themes.
So you can get a real sense of what people think about this product and, honestly, why it's so darn popular.
What does that huge pile of data actually tell us?
All right, let's get into it. The product is the Banggood G9000 gaming headset. You've probably seen it pop up. Blue version is our source page.
Okay, so basics first. What is this thing? According to the page, it's a wired over-ear gaming headset. Pretty straightforward.
And they push some features right at the top. Noise canceling, LED light, 7.1 surround sound. We should probably talk about that. And soft memory earmuffs.
Yeah, that 7.1 surround sound. Let's touch on that. Usually in headsets like this, it's not actually 7 speakers in your ear.
Right, it's more like a software thing.
Exactly. It's digital signal processing, an algorithm trying to simulate surround sound, make it feel like audio is coming from different directions.
Which gamers want for, like footsteps and stuff. Tactical advantage.
Precisely. So it's aiming for that immersive, positional audio feel.
Yeah.
Even if it's simulated.
Got it. And another big thing right there on the page, multi-platform compatibility. They list, everything.
Go on.
PS4, PS5, Xbox Series XS, Xbox One. But hang on, note about needing an adapter for older Xbox One controllers. Important detail, PC, 3DS, laptop, PSP, tablet, iPad, computer, mobile phone.
Wow. Okay, so they're casting a really wide net there. That's a significant part of the pitch.
Definitely seems like it. Use it anywhere.
Okay, so that's the what. Now, let's get to the why it's so popular, especially those crazy rating numbers, the value proposition.
Yeah, the price. It jumps right out. Regular price listed is $19.99.
And Prime members, even a little cheaper, $18.99.
Pennies, basically. And they show that's way down from a supposed list price of $35.99.
So yeah, it's screaming affordable, like really affordable, especially with those kinds of claimed discounts.
Which kind of answers the question, how does a sub-$20 headset get so huge? The source page gives us clues.
Like the bestseller rankings.
Exactly. #1 bestseller. Not just in one category, but in Mac game headsets, PS4 headsets, and PS5 headsets. Multiple competitive spots.
#1 across different platforms?
Yeah.
That's impressive market penetration. And didn't it mention sales volume?
Yep. 10K plus, bought in past month.
Okay, so let's connect the dots. Those rankings, that sales velocity, that rock bottom price, plus the features and compatibility, it suggests they've hit a real sweet spot.
It feels like a high volume, low margin play maybe, offering a lot of perceived value for not much money.
Yeah, appeals to budget gamers or maybe parents buying for kids or just someone needing a basic versatile headset without spending a lot.
Seems designed to be that easy default choice. But okay, the real meat is in those 109,712 customer ratings.
Incredible number. It's not just a few anecdotes. This is a crowd speaking. Overall rating, 4.3 out of 5 stars.
Solid? Good. But not perfect, right? 4.3 suggests there's probably some disagreement in there.
Definitely hints at some nuance. So let's dig into what people are actually saying. We've got the AI summaries on the page and some specific review quotes. First up, sound quality.
And here, the feedback seems generally pretty positive.
Yeah, considering the price, users consistently mention good sound. They say the noise cancellation helps block outside sound. Some even use it for music.
The reviews mention specifics too, right? Like bass for explosions.
Yep, good bass for booms, crisp highs for things like footsteps. People feel it gives them that tactical edge hearing where sounds come from, which loops back to that 7.1 surround idea. Users feel they're getting decent positional audio.
Okay, sounds mostly a win. What about comfort?
Huge win, seemingly. Overwhelmingly positive. The page mentions soft memory protein earmuffs, adjustable headband.
And users back that up.
Big time. Comfortable for hours, they say. Long gaming sessions aren't a problem. Skin-friendly material, plush cushions. That Gen X gamer, quote, specifically calls out the ear pads and head pad as extremely comfortable, essential for long wear.
Makes sense. Next category, value for money.
Unsurprisingly, given the price, this is another area with overwhelmingly positive feedback. It's a constant theme.
People just flat out say it's a great deal.
Explicitly. Great quality for the price, exceptional value, well worth the cost. Remember that user we'll talk about later, the one in their third pair?
Yeah.
Even they said it was well worth the $20 I paid, just for the sound quality alone. It really hammers home that people feel they're getting their money's worth, at least in certain aspects.
Okay, what about works well? Seems a bit general.
It does, but the feedback highlighted there is mostly positive too. Especially mentioning it works easily with Xbox controllers, just plugging into the 3.5mm jack on various devices.
So, simple plug and play, mostly.
Seems like it, especially for console users. Easy setup.
All right. Now, durability and overall headset quality. Feels like this is where things might get a bit more interesting.
Yeah, this is where we start seeing more mixed opinions creep in, though the AI summary still leans positive based on the sheer number of good mentions.
So some people find it tough.
Surprisingly so, for the price. Some say it lasts a long time, even with rough handling. There's that parent whose rough kids toss it around, and it survives.
Huh. The ultimate stress test.
Right. And another user praised the wire strength, even after, rolling over it with their office chair. A common headset fate.
True. But there's a but, isn't there?
There is. The negative side on durability is definitely present in the reviews. Some people do describe it as feeling cheaply made.
Or just not lasting long.
Exactly. That user on their third pair, one of theirs apparently only lasted about 4 months before issues started. So it suggests maybe some inconsistency. Some are tanks, some maybe not so much.
Variability in manufacturing, perhaps?
Could be. Or just the reality of a budget product.
Okay, how about gaming performance? Using it in-game for chat.
Very positive feedback from those who comment on it, specifically for gaming. Fantastic for gaming, great for chatting online, enhances the experience.
Comfortable for long sessions, good sound.
Yep.
Makes sense it would perform well in-game for any.
Right. Immersive play, comfortable, seems to deliver on that front for most users.
Okay, so we've hit sound, comfort, value, setup, even durability is mixed but often positive. But you mentioned one area stood out as maybe the main drawback.
Yeah, based on the summaries and the reviews quoted, there's one feature where the feedback seems really divided, maybe sharply divided.
And for a gaming headset, this could be critical.
Exactly. It's the microphone quality. Communication breakdown.
Well, it's complicated. The source material shows really conflicting views. On one side, you have people genuinely impressed.
Like who?
That parent buying for their son said it delivers crystal clear communication. They felt the noise-canceling mic worked well, cutting background noise for teammates. Another review flatly states, microphone delivers crystal clear communication.
Okay, so for some, it's great. For some, yes. But then, there's the other side. Significant negative feedback highlighted.
What kind of problems?
A frustrating range. Mic being unusable right out of the box. Mic just stops working after a while.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Or transmitting a constant, never-ending fan sound or static sound, making the person impossible to understand. Or the audio just cutting in and out.
That sounds pretty bad for online gaming.
It really does. And remember, that user on their third pair praised the sound, praised the cable durability.
Yeah, what did they say about the mic?
Strongly criticized it. Static, cutting out. Said they personally couldn't understand many words others were saying when testing the mic. That highlights how bad it can be for some.
So it's not just quiet, it can be actively disruptive.
Seems so. And remember, the Gen X Gamer tested the mic, said it seems sensitive to closed sounds, but did cancel background noise. That kind of aligns with the mixed bag, right? Maybe the noise canceling itself works, but the actual audio capture or transmission is just inconsistent.
So crystal clear for some, unusable static for others, that's a huge difference.
It's a really crucial split revealed by all that feedback. It suggests maybe quality control on the mic component isn't as consistent as, say, the speakers, or maybe it's super sensitive to the device it's plugged into, certain ports, certain software settings.
Could be. It definitely highlights a potential trade-off at this super low price point. Maybe they focus resources on sound and comfort, and the mic consistency suffered.
It's a plausible theory, and looking at its massive popularity despite these mic complaints tells you something, right?
What's that?
That for a huge number of buyers, the price, the sound, the comfort are so good, they're willing to risk the mic issues. Or maybe they just don't use the mic much anyway.
Interesting point. Consumer priorities, maybe. Okay, let's quickly peek under the hood. Technical specs listed on the page.
Right. It's wired, connects mainly via the 3.5mm jack.
That USB plug is just for the lights, right? Not audio?
Correct. USB for LED power only. Model name is G9000. Weight, 9.6 ounces.
Which is pretty light for over-ears. Probably helps with that comfort people like.
Good point. Materials listed. Faux leather, probably ear cups, headband, and metal, likely in the frame somewhere for structure.
Controls.
Mentions volume control and touch. But the description really focuses on a physical volume wheel, and a mute button looks like they're on the cable itself.
Handy. Cable details.
Described as anti-winding and braided. Nice touch. But then, interestingly, the comparison table on the page says detachable for the cable feature.
Wait, really? That seems to contradict the main picture showing an integrated cable with the controller on it.
Yeah, a bit confusing, maybe a variation or just an error in the table. If it were detachable, that'd be a plus. Audio driver type, listed as dynamic driver.
Okay, so standard headphone tech there.
Yep. Dynamic drivers are super con, uses a magnet and diaphragm like a tiny speaker. Expected tech for this price range. Nothing fancy or unusual.
Gotcha. Standard stuff, good to know the specifics from the page. Now, you mentioned something unexpected, the source material highlighted.
I did. Beyond the usual tech specs and reviews, this page threw in a curveball.
Which was?
Sustainability features.
On a budget gaming headset. Seriously.
Yeah. Page mentions carbon emissions measured, reduced, offset. Certifications from Carbon Free and Climate Partner.
Huh. That is definitely not something you usually see highlighted on a $20 gaming accessory.
Adds an interesting layer, doesn't it? Maybe appealing to certain buyers or just part of their brand image, even for budget stuff.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this all up. We've gone deep into this one Amazon page, looked at the product, the price, the positioning, and synthesized feedback from, again, over 100,000 customers.
And what emerges is a picture of a wildly popular headset. Super affordable, works on almost anything.
Gets tons of praise for sound quality, for comfort during long use, and just generally being great value for the money. Most people feel they got a really good deal.
But there's always a but with budget gear, it seems. That massive feedback pool also clearly shows a major point of inconsistency. The microphone.
Yeah, it's really mixed. Some find it crystal clear, but a significant number report serious problems, static, cutting out, totally unusable. Durability also has some question marks, though seems less widespread than the mic issues.
So understanding all this, straight from the source material, the selling points, the price strategy, and crucially, the collective voice of users outlining strengths and weaknesses should really help you decide if this particular headset makes sense for your needs.
You can weigh the good stuff, sound, comfort, value against those potential risks, especially with the microphone and maybe long-term durability.
Which brings us to a final thought for you. Based on everything we've pulled from this source, it's a common dilemma with popular, budget-friendly tech, right?
How do you personally weigh those pros and cons, especially for gaming, where clear chat is often pretty important?
Exactly. How much weight do you give the excellent sound and comfort, knowing there's a non-zero chance the mic might give you trouble? Where do you draw the line on acceptable trade-offs? Something to think about.